14 Roland Garros championships for Rafa Nadal. The undisputed king of clay has done it again, unbelievably. The final was a letdown, but this tournament for Rafa Nadal was an absolute display of the warrior spirit that he has, from numbing his foot before matches, beating Novak, making it through all the way and winning a championship again. His 22nd slam. Is the GOAT debate over? Rafa kind of alluded to it being over, but not in a way that you might expect. So here's the slice presented by PointsBet Canada. Let's review this tournament, Rafa's win, and get into the GOAT debate.
Oh, he's playing a galactic.
She's been too good, too often.
Oh, it's out to this world.
How's that for quality on clay?
Well, welcome to the final slice of the clay season as it wraps up here in a very predictable way with Rafa Nadal winning his 14th Roland Garros. Like, how many times has the clay season ended with that? I guess 14 times now. So that's just unbelievable. Before we get into it, PointsBet Canada presenting sponsor. Note this: if you had bet on Rafa to win Roland Garros before the tournament, a very predictable thing. Some people might say the most predictable thing in all of sports, Rafa Nadal winning the French Open, you could have got 4.25 times your money on PointsBet Canada. So that would have not been a risky bet at all. Some would say very less risky or very not risky, and that's a pretty good value. So that's crazy. If you did that, congrats. Let us know if you did. But thanks to PointsBet for sponsoring our content all tournament long. Subscribe and like this video if you do, and if you are appreciating Rafa's dominance, like the video. It helps us out. Rafa at Roland Garros. It's the most unbelievable pairing in all of tennis history, and he's done it again. I've been saying it's the most predictable thing in sports, but this title was different at Roland Garros. Questions about his foot coming in. Questions about will he beat Novak. Questions about his preparation coming in. He only played a handful of matches and didn't win any clay titles. The same thing persists. Rafa Nadal is the absolute force at Roland Garros. We can't believe it. 3 matches lost in history. We were pretty sure that we were going to see another one added to that this tournament, but we didn't. The main climax of the tournament, I would say almost, for Rafa and for basically everyone on the men's side of the draw was the Novak Djokovic match. Djokovic, I had him as the favorite going in. I made the prediction video. I think Novak's going to beat Rafa. Actually, at the beginning of the tournament, though, if you go back and watch the tournament preview, I said Rafa is going to beat Novak. Nobody beats Rafa 2 years in a row at Roland Garros. And that was true. But then I changed it based on what I'd seen against Felix Auger-Aliassime in the 4th round for Rafa, and just he wasn't looking his best then. He came over the ultimate test other than himself at Roland Garros, beating Djokovic. For him, it was a big test. He showed incredible level, and from then on, it was just, is he going to have a stumble before winning this title? The only other person who had a stumble was his semifinals opponent in Sasha Zverev, which was turning out to be the absolute war, maybe the longest, most grueling tennis match of all time, until Zverev basically snapped his ankle. So, unbelievable. Rafa's predictable win at Roland Garros, number 14, 22nd major, crazy. Another amazing stat about this tournament for Rafa was he beat 4 of the top 10 en route to winning. The only other big 3 member who's done that is Roger Federer, and that was back at the AO 2017. You kind of have to be outside of the top 10 or outside of the top 5 for really it to happen. And then there was one other person in history, but I can't remember who. Yeah, so Rafa went Felix, and then he beat Novak, and then he beat Zverev, and then he beat Casper Ruud. Now, talking about the final was disappointing. I said at the beginning of it, Ruud's going to have to play up on the baseline, blackout, go crazy, and he just wasn't able to mentally do that. Of course. How can you, as Casper Ruud, everyone's posting pictures of you as a 14-year-old watching Rafa win in like 2013, like not even that long ago. And then there's that insane video of Casper Ruud standing in the hallway while Rafa's like zigging and zagging and doing his crazy warm-ups, and Casper Ruud's just standing there like fiddling with his wristband. Like, you are done watching that. How could you possibly win a tennis match when you are standing there watching all that? Literally, the Spanish bull just rev up his engines right in front of you. It's like, good luck, buddy. Thanks for coming out. So that was a tough look. Obviously, hard to perform in your first ever slam final, especially against your idol and a guy who's won this tournament 13 times before beating you. So can't really fault Casper Ruud there. He got pinned in the backhand corner, like classic blueprint for Nadal against guys who have weaker backhands than forehands, and the rest is history. So the crazy thing was, it was 6-3, 3-1 for Ruud in the second set, and then Rafa literally won the next 11 games straight. Bagel in the third set. Craziness. So can't really fault Ruud for that. Like I said, he joins Federer and Djokovic as being players who have been bageled in the French Open finals by Nadal. So yeah, not exactly outlier there. Some people are criticizing Nadal, and they have for a while, and they say Nadal's lucky. It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of like a brain game statement when a guy's won 13 Roland Garros before this one, and you're calling him lucky. Obviously, he's not lucky. You have to be good to be lucky, and you got to be like putting himself in this position. I would say he was fortunate having Zverev bow out with an injury, because that match was going to be crazy, and that we just don't know. It was open-ended. That was going to be crazy, but there's no luck involved in what Rafa's doing. He methodically beats people. Everyone. He's beaten Novak Djokovic 4 times in the final, Federer 5 times in the final, I think, or maybe 4 and 3. I'm not sure. But anyways, he's the clear-cut, undisputed clay GOAT. Never, ever, 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 ever going to be touched again by anyone. Talking about the GOAT debate, though. The GOAT debate rages on, as it does. You might see that I don't talk about the GOAT debate as much here on the channel, because I think we've progressed past really the debate about who is the GOAT. To me, it's clear that the 3 GOATs are going to be in their own separate room in the history books, in the Hall of Fame, as the 3 greatest tennis players of all time, especially on the men's game. Nadal, quote, after winning, quote, "It's very simple to understand for me. I don't know. Sometimes for you, the media, it is a little bit different," Nadal said when asked about what keeps driving him at 36. "It's not about being the best of the history. It's not about the records. It's about what I like to do. I like to play tennis, and I like the competition. We achieved our dreams. Me, Roger, Novak. We achieved things that probably we never expected." So for him, he's basically saying there that the GOAT debate does not motivate him. And he's kind of insinuating that they've all arrived at this place where they never expected, and that they're all kind of in the same grouping. So Nadal gets 22, 23, 24 slams. Djokovic gets more. They're all going to be grouped into basically the same lump, and then people are just going to argue. And I think it does a disservice to tennis and their greatness by constantly bickering and putting down the other people in this big 3, the other fan bases, which all of you guys are present here. So shout out. I love it. I've been deep in it. I used to talk about the GOAT debate all the time. You might not be saying that's like, well, you're a Federer supporter. That's why you don't talk about it, because he now has probably going to end up with the least amount of Grand Slams. It's like, no, I've actually just realized that it's ridiculous, because the GOAT debate, it should be now the GOAT celebration. Because if you think you're going to convince other fan bases that your GOAT is greater than theirs, when at the least they're going to have 20 slams, that's pretty crazy. You're not going to do that, and it's just better for all of us to just respect all 3 of them. But right now, the day is for Rafa Nadal, who's got his 22nd slam. At the beginning of this year, it was a lot of people are thinking he'll probably never win a slam again. And now he's won the first 2. The last thing I want to talk about is his absolutely insane fighting spirit. He revealed that during this tournament, he was getting like shots into his nerve to block the nerves from the pain of his foot disability through the tournament. So it was partially numbing his foot. So I just don't even understand how you could play a sport and not like break your ankle like Zverev did with a partially numbed foot. Like, how could you play that way and then beat Novak, beat FAA, beat Zverev, beat Ruud, and win Roland Garros with a numbed foot? I just don't understand how that could be even possible. But that's how insane Rafa Nadal is. That's how different he is built than all of us. I'd be crying like a little baby. I couldn't do it. So Rafa Nadal, it's just the things that we're going to tell our grandkids. Like the kids in the future, when they see somebody coming back, we get to say we watched Rafa Nadal do his thing at Roland Garros. And that's just incredible. We are so lucky. So congrats to Rafa. Congrats to the Rafa fans. 22 slams, 14 Roland Garroses. Mind-blowing. So thanks for being here. I'll see your thoughts on all of what I talked about in the comment section below. Comment, like, subscribe, check out PointsBet Canada, and join our channel for behind-the-scenes looks from Paris and from the grass court season where I'm covering now. We're onto the grass. We're leaving the clay behind. Congrats, Rafa. See you next time here on the Slice Guys. Thanks for being here.
Oh, he's playing a galactic.
She's been too good, too often.
Oh, it's out to this world.
How's that for quality on clay?